Hello and welcome back to TED Talks Truth and Reality about why most lost souls unconsciously and blindly do not believe there is a creator of all things seen and unseen. Most lost souls are so caught up in their tiny, selfish me-first realities and are so preoccupied with self-concerned issues they don't take time to even entertain thoughts there just might be a larger, all-encompassing spiritual creator looming outside their me-first mind. I discovered in my search for self-enlightenment there is a higher, all-encompassing cosmic mind whose reality must always be brought into the thought equations of our daily moment-to-moment decision-making process. The self-awareness of this greater power must always be in our individual minds and hearts. And this self-enlightenment will be discussed from many angles during our time together. Self-awareness of the existence of an actual spiritual truth allows and affords you the personal perception to feel the higher reality of the Creator's truth, and adds balance and harmony to any physical conflict or disagreement or disharmony on differing physical viewpoints. An infusion of this spiritual truth would definitely benefit those lost souls wandering the streets of Ferguson, Missouri at this time, and the closed-minded fanatics of the jihadist radicals in the wastelands of the Middle East, where they chop the heads off of innocent Americans, children, women, Christians, as well as their own Muslim brothers. Being unable to admit your unique view could be wrong and contrary to what you see and think you know to be so is an act of selfish addiction to the physical world, not much different than any other earthly addiction. You cannot or will not admit you are wrong or could be wrong because it is your self-centered physical view of what your mind sees to be true beyond any personal physical shadow of doubt. And according to your self-centered ego, how and why would your determinations ever be wrong? Because you are never wrong, are you? Because of all these unique, conflicting, and contrasting, self-preserving, self-concerned views, our outside reality separates and fragments into the countless self-interest groups plaguing our society today. These self-centered groupings are unable to see or feel the ravaging disease controlled by selfism. I have tried to make you more aware that all ideas and all past concepts in your personal belief system could be tainted and therefore distorted and confused by wrong opinions conceived in the past, and could be based on miscalculations made in various historical eras down through time, as well as by current leaders of our government, of these radical groups, of the protesters, and of any social group in our society and in our cultures today. Hence, your chosen self-interest group could likewise be championing wrong ideals, improperly conceived from those past mistakes, allowing them to be repeated again and again. Just look at the growing diverse self-centered groups popping up everywhere and anywhere in society and throughout the world. All are infested with selfism. If they do not follow the golden rule and do no harm with their thoughts and deeds, they follow evil. Does this standard form the guiding principle of the leaders of our government, of the protesters, of the radical terrorists, or of any of our daily decisions in our daily lives? The answer is sadly no, and here's why. All of our thoughts and deeds are determined by personal perceptions based upon one-of-a-kind observations that could be wrong. This idea will be further expanded during our discussions as we move forward. For a moment, stop thinking about all that has been said to this point in time and try to use your imagination. Try to hover above the scene when the first two people stepped out of the cave of unconsciousness. Let us call them Adam and Eve. Eve saw everything through her special, unique, feminine set of eyes and concluded what she saw to be absolutely what she self-consciously believed to be truth and reality. Adam saw everything from his unique masculine view of things, and all the physical stuff outside his mind was what he believed, and he made conclusions and determinations from his individual point of view. Even though they were gazing at the same reality, but because each were unique, one saw white, one saw black, just like our demonstration showed in our last discussion. Their conclusions were likewise unique and absolutely one of a kind. However, impossible to completely convey to the other unique mind, since no two people will ever see or observe the same physical phenomenon and draw the same exact conclusions as they tried to explain what they observed. Einstein's theory of relativity, as we discussed it also in our last series. Now use your imagination and compound and extrapolate this phenomenon happening again and again and again throughout the unfoldment of history. Every subsequent thought, idea, opinion, theory, decision became based and founded upon faulty, flawed explanations and flawed definitions and faulty interpretations. No one person's view of reality is better than anyone else's view. I recognize there are some absolutes in the seen physical world, and science proves as well as disproves ideas and theories more rapidly than ever before in history. But because selfism blinds an individual to actual truth and reality, evilness controls conflicts like those taking place in the streets of America and throughout the world, and are fueled by an unconscious addiction to self-concerned points of view, even if totally wrong. Selfism trumps truth and reality every time, and constructs battlegrounds and struggles between right and wrong to satisfy their own view of their selfish world. Similarly, we argue, we debate, and fight over spiritual interpretations of an unseen world, a realm I know and feel to be the glue that should hold the universe in total balance, but we ignore it. Selfism keeps spiritual truth and reality out of our earthly struggles, and we therefore keep repeating the same old mistakes over and over and over again, because we are all, each and every single one of us, fighting and arguing over our own perfect personal view of reality, even when I just proved beyond a shadow of a doubt your view could be wrong. 40 years ago, I began a search for self-enlightenment and self-truth, after I made one huge, bad, wrong, self-centered decision. That bad choice eventually caused me to go to prison for 23 months. However, because life takes you on a unique, one-of-a-kind ride, it took 5 more years of twisting and turning to unfold before the want and the actual will truly surfaced to encourage an honest search for self-enlightenment. Back in April 1974, I began an honest and sincere search for self-truth and self-enlightenment. So, just before entering into the world of seclusion from the so-called outside reality, I was already beginning to self-realize that good can come from the most unusual places. Therefore, I had resolved that during my incarceration I would uncover the root cause of all the evil in my life. I had promised myself and my children that I would uncover the reasons why good people sometimes make bad, poor choices. I began to examine the who, what, when, where, why, and how any lost soul makes the wrong choices in an individual's reality or search for truth. So when the bars closed around me, I decided to use my time away from society as an opportunity to find my true purpose of being here on earth in the first place, and began a journey to discover my inner soul, the part of me that had been shut out of my decision-making process for most of my self-centered life, and I didn't know why. In the months leading up to the first day of incarceration, I was beginning to think that problem as well as the answer was somehow locked up inside of each of us, and I was determined to find the key. And being isolated from the so-called better elements of society seemed like the perfect place to begin. And I eventually did discover that self-truth, that the solution to the problem was indeed inside all of us. Each of us needed to just slow down and love. Love self, love God, love others. And in this mindful process of slowing down, you really do discover self-enlightenment. And that is what I'm going to try and help in the course of our discussions you discover by yourself, in yourself. So until we meet again, Godspeed.